What's up, everybody? This is GreyMan here with another Sunday Shift Report. Hopefully this video finds you well this afternoon or night or day or whatever time this video happens to come across your phone or computer or TV or whatnot. Hopefully I'll get to interact with some of you folks down in the premiere, and thank you all for being here. Truly appreciated. So today on the Sunday Shift Report, we're going to dive into some things. I'm a little bit behind on the ball on a few things. That being said, because I have to work on the weekends and basically working morning till night, so I don't have time to do any content or do any breaking this or breaking that. But we're going to dive into a few things here, at least on my opinion and what I see coming and moving forward. We're going to kind of dive into, the food and fuel crisis. It's getting worse. We talked about it last week. We saw how things were happening in China and Afghanistan and some of the places in the UK. We talked about Puerto Rico and a few other places where they're having blackouts. They're having, fuel shortages, grid issues, and things of that nature. We're also going to dive into a few other things in regards to how shoplifting is running rampant and how it's increasing the price of goods that already have skyrocketed tremendously. And thanks to these folks that like to steal and wipe the shelves clean with no impunity from law enforcement or their local state. They don't have nothing to worry about. They get to move forward and push on the cost to law-abiding citizens and so on and so forth. What else do we got for you? I got a couple things. Like I said, we're going to dive into the whole energy situation. Also, we're going to look at the Mexican drug cartels firing machine guns over at the National Guard post down in the southern border. Will it get worse? Will it turn into an all-out, full-scale, situation out there? I guess that's left to be seen, right? We'll also kind of follow up with the whole China and Taiwan and what that means for the future of the world, per se. Could this lead to another world war? Could we, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it'll turn into nothing. But I have a feeling that it will turn into something, and I'll go into these articles and hopefully you'll find some of them pretty intriguing. So let's start with the food prices, right? And the whole food shortages that everybody keeps on saying, man, these preppers out there, they're just a crazy bunch of folks. There is no supply chain issues. There is no food shortage. What are they talking about? They just buy everything up. What are they doing, man? These hoarders, man, all they do is mess everything up for the rest of us. Well, as we all know, that's wrong. And we've seen it time and time again. People who prep have been prepping for decades or even longer, maybe their entire life, that have been buying. They find sales. They see something, a good deal on rice or a good deal on this or whatever the case may be, and they do it over a long period of time. Most preppers that I know don't go out in a day and go and spend $5,000 on food and wipe the entire shelves out. It's the people that are unprepared, the folks that blame the preppers. The people that are unprepared see something in the news and like, oh my God, Bob, there's no water. We need to run to the store. There's no toilet paper, Bob. What are we going to do? We have no food. We only have our typical family of supply in our pantry of 2 to 3 days. What are we going to do, Bob? And then they go out and clean the entire shelves out and spread it amongst their friends and family, and it turns into a massive nightmare and creates a worse situation that they're already in. Sorry to be a little bit sarcastic, and I apologize if anybody out there has the name Bob. I'm just using that as a point of reference if you kind of get what I'm saying. Anyways, great, get to the point. So it says food prices have hit highest level in a decade. That's the title of this article, and it says food prices across the world have risen to their highest levels in a decade on the back of tightening supply conditions, robust demand, according to the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, aka the FAO. The FAO's Food Price Index, which measures the world food commodity prices, has surged by 32.8% in the 12 months through September, coming in at a reading of 130 points, a level not seen since 2011. On a month-over-month basis, the index rose 1.2%. So the only thing that throws me off about what they're saying right there is, in 2011, I've been alive for 40-plus years. I don't remember the food situation being this bad, ever, since I've been alive, to be honest with you. So I'm not sure if they're basing it on the entire world, being that this is what the organization does, because I know here in the U.S. In 2011, I wasn't really worried about some of the things that we're worried about today. Moving forward, according for the bulk of the rise of the index were higher prices of most cereals and vegetable oils. Matter of fact, I seen someone do a whole thing on cereal. I think it was Frontier Peppers that did a thing on cereal and how to store cereal. Good video. The FAO Vegetable Oil Price Index was up 60% in September compared to a year earlier at 1.7% from August. The cereal price measure was up to 27.3% over the year last and 2% from August. It doesn't stop there, folks. Dairy and sugar prices also rose in September by over the year 15.2% and a 53.5% respectively. While the most meat price index was up 26.3% above its level a year ago. So basically everything is skyrocketing. The price of everything is skyrocketing. The supply, there's less supply and massive demand, and prices are skyrocketing. And folks are thinking, man, I just got a raise, because down here in Florida, everybody got a raise. They're up to $10 an hour for their minimum wage now. Woohoo! Too bad they don't understand inflation and how that works. They're probably making a lot less. They just look at the number and think that's what they need to look at, but they don't do the math, unfortunately. Maybe they'll come across channels like myself or others and figure it out for themselves. All we can do is spread the message of preparedness. Anyways, while much of the inflation story has been focused on surging energy costs and products impacted by the semiconductor chip shortages like used cars and rising food cost signals and increasingly flashing red sign per se, right? It's a big flashing sign saying, hey, Kay, we're heading to a nasty situation. Anyways, it goes on to say, as the U.S. economy rebounds, packaged food companies are grappling with inflation. But if you hear Washington, they're like, inflation, just print more money. It'll fix everything. That's their answer to everything. Anyways, sorry. I just, some of this stuff makes me laugh because it's like, the government itself is just like blowing it off, giving people that complacency. Hey, everything's under control. Don't worry about this. But anyways, again, let me go back to the article. It says, while much of the inflation story has been focused on, I already read that, as the U.S. economy rebounds, packaged food companies are grappling with inflation. With Congra Brands, Inc. saying October 7th, was just a couple of days ago, that it increased its prices again on its frozen meals and snacks. So back to the frozen food situation. Remember when you used to go in there and you could get like 10 for $1 at one of your local specialty stores or whatever? Let's say down here we have like Winn-Dixie, Publix's and stuff like that here in Florida. But you get 10 meals for $10, and you give them to the kids or whatnot, these little meals. Well, they've been going up and they've been going up. And again, like you guys saw, the Dollar Tree is no longer the Dollar Tree. It's like the $1.25, $1.50, $2 tree. Who knows where it's going to go? It probably will not stop there, folks. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Rising costs of its ingredients, including edible oils, proteins, grains, forcing it to increase prices on frozen goods by 3 to 5%, and on staple meals by 3.3% and 3.5%. But you guys get about 3.5% increase in those foods. And again, it's just a consistent increase. Increase here, increase there, increase everywhere. And of course, we have higher food costs. And the dollar that you make is worth less. Matter of fact, if I recall correctly, I did watch a video by Alaska Prepper that he did a really good breakdown on this whole process over time and stuff like that. It was a really good video, and you guys have probably seen it because we have a lot of the same folks that intermingle across these platforms and these channels. To finish this up, food maker General Mills, Campbell Soup, and J.M. Schmucker, which you probably know what Schmucker, like the jams and stuff like that, have also raised wholesale prices in response to the rising ingredient and freight cost. So we've talked about freight costs. We've talked about the shipping container shortages and the cost of shipping containers. Have they, jumped up almost 600%? They used to be $2,000 or $3,000. Now they're like $20-some thousand. It just doesn't stop, folks. There's no relief in sight. If you talk to certain economists, they're saying they might not see anything rebounding back for another several years. So I hope you got your seatbelt on and you're ready to go for this long ride, because we're just ending in 2021. We're coming close to it. This fall does not look good. Matter of fact, they're over there in some of the West Coast, they're seeing record snowfall up to a foot in certain higher elevations. You're seeing matter of fact, as we speak, there's these massive possible tornadic activity down in the central region. I think Oklahoma and down in that area, Tornado Alley. Looking at some bad weather there, so pray for those folks out there. that it just passes through, but they're on high alert if you go to the weather, kind of look into the weather aspect of those local areas and whatnot. Some folks have been asking me about Augustus Farms. I've been getting emails. Hey, man, did you hear about Augustus Farms? Augustus Farms, yeah. I'm like, yeah, heard about it days ago. Sure did. I haven't had to do nothing about it because I'm at work and can't do a video, but we'll throw up the letter everybody's talking about. It says, Dear valued customer, the lasting effect of Charlie Victor has translated into global raw material shortages and caused substantial delays in our procurement and production process. Regrettably, BCG cannot fulfill your orders on time. Therefore, this letter communicates our decision to suspend business for the next 90 days. So we're looking, we're in October, November, December. So for the entire winter months, that's excluding February, January and February. But this takes effect immediately, which is dated on the 7th. During these 90 days, we'll secure and stockpile raw materials and take measures to accelerate our round-the-clock production output. We will also review our product assortment and to make sure that we focus on relevant, top-selling SKUs, like the scrambled eggs, but we'll get into that in a second. We are confident that this rest period will help us better serve you on time, complete shipments, and future. Sincerely appreciate your business. Look forward to reinstating a partnership and all that stuff in early January 2022. Sorry. Well, that food is not settling well. Speaking of food. So I wanted to do something in Augustus Farms. If you go to their website, yeah, they're pretty much, everything is sold out, or you just can't even order it. But that being said, if you're smart and you're a last-minute shopper, you want to grab some last-minute things just in case, right? The good old Amazon has things still available through Augustus Farm. Let me bring this up for you to see. So let's say the scrambled egg mix, right? It says Augustus Farm scrambled egg mix. You guys know what the scrambled egg mix. It says in stock. And you can have it shipped to your house by tomorrow within 2 hours. If I order now, within 2 hours and 22 minutes, this is a little while ago. It's probably a little less than a couple hours now. But anyways, if you order it, it'll be at your house tomorrow. So for you Amazon shoppers out there, you might want to prove Amazon if you're looking for Augustus Farm specifically, or other freeze-dried foods. Just look now, check the prices, because the prices are going up. And procure yourself some freeze-dried food if that's what you choose to do so. Just letting you know that even though that they're going through that, Amazon buys in bulk, so they have a lot of stuff in their massive warehouses. So if you haven't procured the food that you're looking for, let's say eggs is one of your favorite things, check them out. If not, people are saying nutrient survival, man, that's pretty expensive stuff. Well, if you look at stuff like Mountain House, which does not have the nutritional value that, let's say, Nutrient Survival does, for I think a number 10 can of like beef or something like that, I think it's up to like $60, $65. So now when you look at Nutrient Survival, let's say their scrambler mix or something else that they have that you might enjoy, the prices don't seem so bad now, right, folks? So again, and if you want to save some money, I do have an affiliate link down below. Just saying, shameless plug, whatever, down below, and you can save some money on Nutrient Survival. Yes, I had to throw that in there. All right, so moving on. What else do we got going for you? We discussed the Augustus Farm. We discussed the whole food situation and food prices going up. Let's kind of talk about the whole energy situation and how that's going. And I want to show you this article. So when I look up articles from all over the place. Right media, left media, independent media. I look at it all because I want to see how it's being portrayed. So let me bring this up. I thought it was pretty funny, and I highlighted how many times in this article they stated it, but I just want to show you how in periodical or something tries to basically pound something away for you so it sticks in your brain. So this is what you think the underlying cause of everything is. But who am I? I'm no scientist. I'm just some guy on YouTube, with a podcast or channel or whatnot, right? So let's bring this up. It says there are vulnerabilities in electricity production throughout the U.S., and they are growing. Why is it growing? Is it because the average power plant in the U.S. is over 50 years old? Our electrical grid is deteriorating and hasn't been upkept in, a long time, almost a half a century? Well, let's dig into it, right? It says, while Texas grid is unique in many respects, the problem of underinvestment in energy infrastructure is all too common throughout the U.S. Much of the power grid was built decades ago. In addition to the wear and tear that it comes with age, the power grid is stressed by a growing population and its rising energy demands. So think decades ago, 50 years ago, the population density of the U.S. and what it is today, and the massive increase in the massive strain on an old system. Here's where we get into the fun stuff. Climate change, and I'm laughing, and you can see why on the screen, is adding to the further pressure. Beyond extreme events worsened by climate change, like hurricanes, wildfires, and heat waves, rising average temperature themselves stress electricity infrastructure. Power plants have become less efficient. Power lines carry less electricity. Transformers and inverters experience a higher failure rate. Water reservoirs that power plants need for cooling can't get too hot. Scientists are still trying to sort it out if climate change will lead to more extreme cold events like the one that chilled Texas in February. But whether cold waves like that one that have spawned winter storms in Uri become more and less likely. We'll see, right? We are headed towards our winter. The fact remains that the odds of another such event are not zero, so it's plausible it could easily happen again. Many weather-related threats to the electricity system are increasing in frequency and intensity and are also projected to worsen. They are projected to worsen. Stress that word. They are projected to worsen in the future due to climate change. According to the 2017 installment of the U.S. Department of Energy's Quadrennial Energy Review, a comprehensive assessment of the country's energy. This means millions of Americans face the specter, is that what it says, of prolonged, maybe I wish I could highlight this. I should have highlighted it. It says this means millions of Americans face the specter of prolonged power outages under the current power grid. The infrastructure we have built right now isn't ready for this new normal, said Kelly Sanders, an associated professor of civil environmental engineering at the University of California. So, yeah. And then it goes into California blackouts and wildfires and stuff like that. But you guys get what I'm saying. I'm being extremely sarcastic in that, but it does have some relevant information. But then, of course, you see the narrative that's being pushed in your face over and over and over and over again. Well, let's dig into this whole climate thing, right? All right. So it says on this next article, it says energy crisis may unleash winter blackouts across U.S. Insider warns. I read this on several different platforms, so I know it has some validity to it because it's just not the right, the left, or the middle. It's everybody kind of talking about this. Once things become politicized, it gets all, what's it called, clouded, if you get what I'm saying. It says the energy crisis that is rippling through Asia and Europe, which we discussed, could unleash electricity shortages and blackouts in the U.S., according to Bloomberg. Ernie Thrasher, CEO of X-Coal Energy and Resources LLC, told energy research firm IHS Markit that he spelled that wrong. The U.S. utilities quickly turned to more coal because of soaring natural gas prices. We have actually had discussions with power utilities who are concerned that they will simply have will have to implement blackouts this winter. So basically, they're saying that power companies are telling them that they may have to implement blackouts this winter, depending on where you live, depending if the surge in heating cost. You know, if it gets really, really cold out there and everybody's cranking up their thermostats, it's going to create an issue. Moving on to the other part of this article, it says he said they don't see where the fuel is coming from to meet demand, adding that 23% of utilities are switching away from gas this fall and winter to burn more coal. The issue is coal, right? Oh man, that whole Green New Deal, huh? Looks better and better, doesn't it? I'm being sarcastic, folks. With natural gas, coal, and oil prices soaring is a clear signal that the green energy transition will take decades, not years, walking back fossil fuels for an unreliable clean energy that has been a disaster, in Asia and Europe. These power-hungry continents are scrambling for fossil fuel supplies as stockpiles are well below seasonal trends ahead of cooler weather. A similar story is playing out in the U.S., where increased demand for coal might not be reached by mining companies. We noted Thursday morning that what does that say? The boosting output might be challenging due to years of decommissioning mines to reduce our carbon emissions. And then transition the economy from fossil fuels to green energy. There's also been a steady decline of miners over the last 3.5 decades, and as you can see by that chart there, that is a massive decline in U.S. coal mining jobs in the thousands. Then it goes to say the whole supply chain is stretched beyond its limits. We know this. We've been talking about this. It's going to be a challenging winter for us here in the United States. So be forewarned. If you are in a state that, even if you're not in a state, look at Texas. We'll use Texas as a reference. Even if you're not in a state, but heed this. If you're in a state that experiences hard winters, expect the worst. Prepare for the worst. Maybe you'll get lucky. Everything will be fine. But prepare for the worst. That being said, so if anything does transpire, you are ready. If there is a blackout, if there is a power outage in your area, you have a wood-burning stove, you have some sort of propane gas backups, you have, let's say some sort of generators and the fuel and everything else that needs to run that to keep your house warm, to keep your family safe, to cook your foods, to boil water, to do whatever that you need to do. So, anyways, finishing up this article, says utility company Duke Energy Corp, Piedmont Natural Gas Unit covering North and South Carolina customers, warn power bills this winter are set to rise due to high natural gas prices and low production. So, a matter of fact, I spoke to Mark over at Rolling Homestead, and he was telling me per pound that he is paying a lot more in regards to his natural gas, trying to fill his tanks up for the winter haul up there in Wisconsin. So, that being said, and it also differs if you're closer to the city and not, but just be forewarned that if that's something that you depend on, you need to make sure that you're prepped and ready for worst case scenarios. Where are we at? Energy crisis. All right. Speaking of, so some folks talked about Lebanon. Matter of fact, I do have a little thing here. Electricity is restored in Lebanon as their military supplies energy fuel. It was a temporary reprieve for the grid that has been supplying only a few hours of electricity per day as Lebanon's collapsing economy struggles to import fuel. So not only their economy is collapsing, but now they're having to use the military to get them some power, I guess, per se, right? Lebanon's sputtering national electricity grid went back online Sunday after the Army provided emergency fuel supplies to the government, temporarily easing a day-long outage that served as the latest ramification of the country's economic collapse. It's happening, folks, and it's happening everywhere. I don't want to be that fearmonger, but I want you to be prepared for anything and everything. We've been talking about economic collapse, and as you see other countries going through this, it's a good idea to prepare. On a serious note, seriously. I'm just saying. I do have a little clip. I thought this was kind of a nice little clip that I saw. I wanted to share with you guys. So someone used the drone footage right at sunset and did a little clip of the video of the city just in darkness other than the thing. But I'll throw it up here, and you can kind of see it there. It's just blacked out. There's like a building, which kind of threw me off, and a couple lights, but most of the city is dark and black. Kind of reminds you of, like, let's say when New York went black, or let's say places like California, have gone black and whatnot as well. But I just thought I wanted to share that because it was kind of intriguing to see. I wanted to share that with you folks. All right, so let's move on, man. And here I wanted to touch on this real quick. I've been showing you guys videos in regards to, shoplifting and shoplifters and them being unimpeded and just taking whatever the heck they want. Well, New York is experiencing it as well. You've seen California, you've seen Oregon, you've seen Washington, you've seen all those kind of areas happening and stuff like that. So I wanted to share this, and I'm going to throw up a picture as well after I share this. I want to show you the picture that was attached to this article. It says, third world NYC drugstore shelves empty amid shoplifting surge. Thanks to a citywide shoplifting tsunami, bare necessities are now a rare luxury on drugstore shelves across New York City. It looks like the third world behemoth on Manhattan's residents after eyeing the aisles of CVS, which is like a drugstore, on 6th Avenue in Soho, desperately low of toothpaste, face wash, hand sanitizer, among a list of other items. They have all been stolen, CVS employee told the Post. This is from the New York Post. State bail reform laws making shoplifting a promising career option for some New York City crooks. One man, Isaac Rodriguez, 22 of Queens, was arrested for shoplifting 46 times this year alone. The blame goes straight to the halls of power in Albany, said New York City top cop Dermot Shea. Insanity. The police commissioner tweeted last week in response to the Post report, "There are no other ways to describe the resulting crime that has flowed from the disastrous bail reform law." So people in New York, you're going to the grocery, let's say, the drugstore around the corner, and look at this picture here. Things are wiped out. And it's not due to a shortage. It's due to a theft. So your normal law-abiding citizens going there like, oh, I need to get this stuff, so I'm going to go and get some toothpaste and some odds and ends. And boom, you get them, the shelves are empty, and maybe you have a prepper mindset. You're like, oh man, the supply shortage. No, that's just one part of it. Now you have thieves wiping everything out. So just imagine for a moment, things get really, really bad, and you're in a crap hits the fan scenario. The unthinkable happens. Natural disaster or something like that. The thieves have already wiped out the shelf. The supply chain is already being destroyed. I don't want to say destroyed. Let me take that back. Strained, whatever. It's out of whack. So you have supply chain issues, you have production issues, you have labor issues. There are all kinds of issues. And now you have crime, thieves wiping shelves out of just normal day-to-day toiletries and items and things that you may need. If that doesn't give you another reason not to prepare, folks, it should. Because it's just everything. It's funny how everything is culminating to the shortage of everything. From food, gas, lumber, everything you can think of. I talk to so many people that come into my shop and ask them so many damn questions. It's ridiculous. And all the things, everybody keeps on saying the same thing. Restaurants, grocery stores, drug stores, lumber yards. Everybody is short. We're not getting the supplies that we need. We're getting 30% or less of what they asked for. The supply is not there, but the demand has increased a lot. Hopefully most of you folks have been being prepared for quite some time. Some of you new folks are probably freaking out. I understand that. But do what you can. Do what you can. Each time you get your paycheck, take a few bucks, buy a few extra cans, buy a bag of rice. Let's say you're to buy one bag of rice per week, right? However much that costs, let's say a few bucks. And over 4 weeks, you have 4 pounds, right? Or let's say you buy 2 pounds, however you want to do it, 1 pound and so on and so forth. And you can see over a few months how that would add up. And before you know it, you'll have 50 pounds of rice. So I know, and some people are saying, well, Grey, there's a massive sense of urgency. I understand that. But buy what you can. Don't put yourself in the poorhouse. Don't forget about your life. Don't forget about, things that you may have to, your bills, your family, other things that are coming up. I know some people, Christmas is coming up, Thanksgiving is coming up, all kinds of the holidays where everybody's supposed to be cheerful and happy. We're supposed to be like, that's like the most happiest time of the year is during the holidays. And I hope that everybody is. And I'm pretty sure we'll be having that discussion down the road here in the next few months. But just do what you can to be prepared, even if it's little. Even if it's a little bit here and there, at least do what you can. It's better to have something than nothing. At least something. Start somewhere. Start now. Start building up your prepper pantry. And don't forget to go across the board. Don't forget your medical supplies, your food supplies, your water supplies. Everybody's lacking in water. There's no doubt. Water is essential to survival. Water is essential to survival. If not, have water purification tablets, have water filters, whatever you can think of. Simple Sawyer Mini, $30-35 at your Walmart. Maybe you'll catch it on sale. No one likes to shop on Black Friday, so wait till Cyber Monday if you want to shop that way. Maybe there'll be sales on stuff. Check everything out. Look for sales, save money, so that your dollar goes further than you, so you can make that dollar stretch as much as you can. All right, what are we at? Where are we at? Okay, so now we're going to, I have to mention this. The southern border. We've talked about the border many times. The southern border is getting nasty. To the point, let me share this with you. This blew my mind, and I have video to show you. Maybe I'm blowing out of proportion. Maybe I'm one of those crazy folks on YouTube that blow things out of proportion. Who knows? Who knows how I'm portrayed, right? me pull this article up real quick. It says Mexican cartel fires a machine gun across the border into the U.S. with bullets zipping above the National Guard observation post as migrants flood in. The footage was captured by a reporter amid reports that Texas National Guard members have seen the cartel gunfights increase near the border recently. Soldiers told Melugan, I think that's just how you pronounce the name, that they had been taunted in recent days by the cartel members who are armed while standing across the Rio Grande. Roma, Texas may be one of the busiest hubs of America's immigration crisis at the shared border with Mexico in terms of illegal crossings and cartels. The Texas Department of Public Safety said Wednesday there have been multiple instances this past week of suspected cartel gunmen spotted. Take a look at this video. Let me move this article and bring this video up. And I'm gonna try to not talk over the video, but you can kind of hear these National Guardmen and media talk a little bit. You might have seen this video already, but it's intriguing. You can see these tracer rounds. And before I bring up the video, it just blows my mind to say that there's people shooting at our service members. That's like, I don't know what. You get what I'm saying. There's people shooting at our service members from another country, regardless if it's the drug cartels or whoever. Things need to be handled immediately. And here's the video. And there's little flashes of light or tracer rounds. Those little flashes of lights or tracer rounds.
That's just indiscriminate fire.
Pretty crazy, huh? I thought it was. I thought it was pretty intriguing, to say the least. Not intriguing in the aspect I was just like, wow, this is really happening. This is really happening. Mexican drug cartels have grown their cojones that big that they're willing to fire across the border at National Guardsmen. What's next? Are they gonna, and they're dressed in uniforms like they're military. So is there going to be this massive insurgency at our southern border? No, I'm just speculating and hypothesizing what may or may not happen. But, and then, do they make a mad dash? Do they just lay heavy fire down so they can get the people across they want to get across? Are we as America ready for that? Do we have enough people down there? Because the federal government sure isn't helping the southern border. Matter of fact, I have I'll throw this up real quick. This is where I found it at. This is the gentleman that I read that article from. The title of his tweet is Holy Poop. We witnessed the tracer rounds from a suspected cartel machine gun being fired from Mexico into the U.S. early this morning. While we were embedded with the Texas National Guard in Roma, Texas, soldiers tell us the rounds went above one of their observation posts over at Fox News. Just to cover all my bases to show where I'm getting this information at. So this is, I'm not just making crap up. So moving on to the last and final article is China and Taiwan. Quite the situation over there, huh? I know. Sorry, I'm trying to top off something. My mouth is getting dry from all this rambling. Don't you guys wish news shows were like this? Where it's more casual. We're just talking about, they're talking about the news, but you know, just I don't know. I wish news channels were more casual. That's just me. Now, you guys are probably not going to be able to see this because it's very small font, but I'm going to kind of touch on a few things because here's my take on the whole China and Taiwan. We saw the whole debacle in Afghanistan and how the world looks upon the U.S. now and how weak our current administration is in dealing with those situations. That being said, so China, of course, as an opportunity, and they have stated repeatedly on CCP radio or stations and whatnot that Taiwan is part of them, and they want to pull that back in. Some people are like, Gray, I don't give a crap what happens to Taiwan, but yes, you should, because you need to have eyes on what's going on overseas, because it's going to continue. They just take a little bit. If you look at history, and I'm not going to go who, but you guys know who, in history, he took a little bit of here, took a little bit of here, and slowly expanded his territory until he started slaughtering people. So anyways, China, Taiwan. China has been, of course, you've been seeing the military, their jets and all that stuff like that, and they've been putting a lot of pressure on Taiwan. And if they push it, and in this article it tells that the Xi Jinping, or however you say his name, told the U.S. government, you need to get your troops out of here. So that should lay in what their intentions are. So then you say, okay, well, what's next? So what if North Korea says, well, you know, China did it, Taliban did it, let's have at it. Don't for one think that North Korea doesn't have a sizable force and weapons supplied by, let's say, the Chinese and Russians and whatnot. And they move into one of the very populous, you know, South Korea. All this would lead to spark off literally World War III. It wouldn't be just those little countries. This would spread. This would spread. People have a lot of vested interest in, let's say, Taiwan and South Korea and other places around the world. Because as we show signs of weakness, not we as people, but our government, the current administration, let's really hyper-focus on that. And these people start taking these places over. You don't think Russia, you know, we've seen Russia and the whole Crimea and the whole Ukraine and how that's been playing out. Eventually, they're all going to say, the American government will not do anything, so let's move now. Just saying. Just my opinion. All right, so let me throw up the article here real quick. And here's where you can see that America's already got their hands involved in this. So an article, and like I said, my apologies, it's very small, and you can see it. I made it big so I can see it, so my face is probably all white out by the screen, but whatever. It says a special operations unit and contingent of the U.S. Marines have been preparing Taiwanese soldiers for a potential invasion of China in secret exercises. The Wall Street Journal revealed in a report that was confirmed by the Pentagon on Friday. Around 24 elite soldiers train Taiwanese ground troops while U.S. Marines practice combat with Taiwan's naval forces. Now, here's what China said. China said U.S. must withdraw from Taiwan. So China has laid their statement down. China says U.S. must withdraw from Taiwan. The U.S. must withdraw troops from Taiwan. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said today, which was October 8th, urging Washington to respect its agreement with Beijing. The U.S. must sever diplomatic relations and abrogate its mutual defense treaty with Taiwan, and U.S. forces must withdraw from Taiwan, which was from the Chinese FM spokesman Zhao Linjian. The U.S. has made it clear commitment to China in his phone call with President Xi Jinping. President Corn Pop emphasized that it has no intention to change the One China principle, spokesman Zhao told reporters. Xi Jinping, the General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party, will deliver an important speech this Saturday, which was yesterday, which he had said, he emphasized what he said, the reunification of Taiwan and to resolutely oppose external forces that interfere with the Taiwan Strait. So he has stated for U.S. to withdraw, and he will oppose external forces, any interference with the Taiwan Strait. Now, Taiwan Foreign Minister Chiu Chang warned on Wednesday that an invasion by China could take place as early as 2025. That's, to me, a speculation. I think it might happen a little quicker. Maybe I'm wrong. For Taiwan's government, it's only a matter of time before Chinese soldiers appear on the shores of the island state and try to subjugate free democracy to the Chinese communist regime. A total of 115 Chinese fighter planes have penetrated the Taiwanese air defense zone last week. On October 1st is where 59 aircraft, including nuclear bombers, just want to highlight that, a new daily record. Taiwan scrambled fighter jets to intercept the intruders and force them to turn them away. China's President Xi Jinping had been pushing for reunification with Taiwan for years. The 68-year-old communist leader said that the issue could not be passed on from generation to generation as early as 2013. If necessary, reunification by force is also an option. Xi does not rule out at the end of July. Xi had Chinese troops drill for an invasion. So they're practicing. They're testing the waters. They're testing the air defenses. They're doing a bunch of stuff. Where are we headed, folks? Where are we headed? What's next? Again, we wake up every day. Every single day, something else. Energy, fuel, food, possible invasions of other countries, weather phenomenon. It's getting crazy out there, man. It's getting crazy. And all I can say and repeat, is spread the word of preparedness. Spread it to your friends, your family. You don't got to tell them that you're a prepper. Just draw up simple conversation. The what-if scenarios. What if we lose power this winter? What are we going to do? Do we have the capability to survive? Are our children safe? Are our grandparents safe? These are questions you need to ask. Spread the message of preparedness. Get more folks prepared, especially the ones you truly, truly care about. The more folks that are prepared, the better for everyone. All right, folks, this is GreyMan. Thank you all for being here. Truly appreciate every single one of you that join these premieres. And for anybody that catches the replay, truly appreciate you as well. If you can, please give this a thumbs up. The YouTube algorithm and stuff like that is always doing things. It censors my mods. It suppresses videos. When this video finishes, it'll probably have so many views, and I look at my analytics. I had, let's say, I'll use this for an example. Let's say my analytics says I have 1,000 views. On YouTube, it'll say I have 250 views. It'll take hours to actually show the amount of viewership that this video had. It takes days sometimes to get the full, I guess, the full picture. Anyways, that's my problem, not yours. But I hope everyone is doing well out there. Again, thank you all for being here. Thanks, mods, for being there and doing what you do. You guys are the unsung heroes of the YouTube-verse. God bless every single one of you folks out there. Stay safe. This is GreyMan. I'm out. See you guys on the rebound.